Hump Day! Wacky Wednesday. How are we doing, everybody? It's this guy, Moving the Chains. This guy, Moving the Chains podcast. We're back. Whacking, rocking, rolling. Wacky Wednesday. Curls for the girls. Pump Day, baby. Let's go. I want to give a shout out to Isabel Wells. I know her pretty well. The reason I do this is for reasons like that. Loving the energy, fire, intense. That's why I do this. I love this stuff. I love football. I am obsessed with it when it comes on. Eat, sleep, football, repeat. The 4 letters, baby, because I'm rocking and I'm rolling. We are back. I usually am repping my Raiders because I usually give the postgame reaction on Wednesday. It's kind of how my routine works, but it's been thrown out of whack. That's how life is sometimes. So I did the Raider reaction yesterday because of the game Monday night. So today I wanted to touch on, it's a short one I wanted to do today. Some games I did not touch on Sunday. The Panthers, Cardinals I wanted to touch on first, and then I wanted to go into Broncos and the Colts because that was a very good game, and I just have some things I want to touch on, and then some news around the league. Joe Burrow's out, where I think that's going to go. So the first game I wanted to touch on that not a lot of people saw because the Panthers and Cardinals, no offense to their fan bases, aren't big brands, right? We think big brands in the NFL. We think Packers, Steelers, Cowboys. That's just how it is. And Panthers, they've been viable when they've had Cam Newton. I was never the biggest fan, but they were winning. They went to the NFC Championship game, went to Super Bowls. Even when they had Jake Delhomme back in the day. They've been viable when they've had the right pieces around it. They've been to the Super Bowls, and they've been viable, and they've been competitive, and they've been in big games. Same with Arizona. Carson Palmer, Kurt Warner. They had their little blimp with Murray. So they've kind of had that. But my take is with the Panthers right now, it's panic mode time. How much longer Bryce Young? Listen, I fell for it last year because the way that he ended the back half of last year, you saw the maturation, him getting benched, which he needed to get benched. And I think the Bears need to bench Caleb Williams. That's just my take, and kind of do what they did to Bryce Young, because you need to kind of sit his ass down. He's never been through adversity. He's always been winning all the time, okay? But he needs to, it's like Bryce Young. Bryce Young got sat down last year, kind of could step back, take a step. Okay, this is what I need to do better. This is what I don't need to do. That's why I go to therapy, right? Why am I an idiot? Why do I think the way I think? That's what I do. But my point is, and Carolina's put pieces around Bryce Young, but this offensive line's a pigsty right now. They've got nothing. I mean, Austin Corbett from the Rams, very good player. He's out. Bosman, the guard or center, I can't remember where he's playing at. He's out. So you're just shuffling around your offensive line. This happens. I get it. But, man, there were 2 guys coming into this year. It was Bryce Young and J.J. McCarthy. Everything's there. Now, Carolina has got some pieces on offense I really like. Their personnel on offense is not bad. Xavier Legette. I was never the biggest T-Mac fan out of Arizona. Not the biggest fan. Too much off and on guy for me. But you saw the talent. And I saw it first week. And I saw it last week. He's not getting touchdowns yet. They got to get him more involved. But I'm seeing the impact. 6'5", 212. His body, his size, his frame. All that stuff. I understand it. And I do like Dave Canales as a coach. I think they've drafted pretty well. But you got to get a new quarterback. I just, at some point, we're 3 years into this thing. And listen, I used to give guys 3 years. But, man, they've had all this 7-on-7 and all this stuff. We ramp it up a lot more with expectations. And we need to kind of temper it sometimes. But for me with Bryce Young, he scared the hell out of me because he was so tiny when he came out of Alabama. And I don't doubt the talent. I don't doubt the kid. I don't doubt any of that because Nick Saban praised him, and that's high praise. And, he's just won a lot. But there's a reason in this league a lot of quarterbacks from the big powers don't work. The Ohio States, the Bamas, the USCs, Notre Dames, because they never have to trail. They never lead. It's comfort. Well, it's uncomfortable when you go to schools like NC State and Texas, or Purdue, and just schools like that. Cal, Oregon, have to carry, And so I look at Bryce, and it's another situation where I think Carolina, because here's the other thing. If the Carolina gets rid of Bryce Young, because they haven't extended him yet, he's still on his 5th-year option, so that's fine. But I kind of think near the end of this year, we're going to see a different quarterback for the Carolina. That's just my take. Because I bought in on Bryce Young near the end of last year because of how good he played. It was like the Jordan Love 2023 tape where you're like, ooh, okay, yeah, I see the tape. I see the stuff he can move. And okay, can he keep it carrying? Can he keep that momentum going? And I felt like last year, not the same with Bryce. Now, this year, it's only 2 games, and I'm not going to jump the gun. But so far, I'm a little panicked if I'm a Panthers fan. Because they got Chuba Hubbard. They got some dudes on the perimeter. Tommy Tremble's their tight end. They got pieces there. They just got to put it all together. And I'm not sure if Bryce Young is Dave Canales' guy. Because I think Dave Canales can look around and go, well, I had Geno, got him a Pro Bowl. Baker got him a Pro Bowl. Bryce, can he get to a Pro Bowl level in Carolina? I'm not sure. So keep a watch out for that because I do think Carolina is an interesting, sneaky team to kind of get a quarterback in this class. Don't be shocked if it's Nussmeier. Don't be shocked if it's one of these guys. I'm not saying they're going to, but I would highly consider them taking a quarterback. So here's our Cardinals. They won. That was one of my against the spread picks, 7.5 by Arizona. They ended up eventually covering, not by much, but they covered, I think, by 5. Carolina showed a lot of fight. That's the one thing with the Panthers. They're losing, but they're in games. It's got to finish. But Arizona, excuse me, this is what I've been saying from the jump. And Kyler Murray, Mr. Mayor Munchkinland, Mr. Mental Midget, this is what he does. This is what he always will be. And I don't get it. I don't understand it. I've been critical of him. I know a lot of people in the media have. He's just not it. There's something in him, the gene pool, that's not there. Like, everybody keeps trying to convince me he's it. I don't see it. And this entitlement and all this nonsense comes with it when you give a guy all that money that hasn't done shit. And Kyler Murray is that, and Trevor Lawrence is that. So when I see Trevor Lawrence waving off Liam Cohen when he's telling him to put it on his chest, they ain't gonna listen to you, bro. Now, I do think Arizona, unlike Carolina, is kind of closer than I think. Not because they're closer in the sense that I feel like they have pieces on offense, like I just mentioned with Carolina, but their defense is a lot better than Carolina. And they have pieces. Now, I did not love the Walter Nolan pick out of Ole Miss. Talented guy, but immature, dumbass shit. But he's hella talented. He had moments last year when I watched Ole Miss and I threw it on because I was a Jackson Dart guy and I respect Lane Kiffin, that he just popped off my TV. I went, whoa, Jalen Carter shit. Like, whoa, okay. There's the moment, okay. But it was kind of like Ted McMillan, 2 off, 2 on switch for me to really buy into the player. But I will say this. If Arizona gets a new quarterback, because I believe this to be true, and I said this last year to Phil Sexton, my cousin, who I love, at Christmas time, I think Arizona's got to move on. It's time. You've seen enough. He's not going to get better. He hits the ceiling. He's moody. He's 2 minutes into the video games. I'm out. He's aloof. I'm not into it. But if Arizona takes a quarterback, because they're going to have a chance this year. I don't know where Arizona fails, but don't be shocked, like Carolina, if they take a quarterback. Now, which guy would it be? I don't know. I don't know. But I would not be shocked if they kind of dip their feet in the pool to get a quarterback. Because this team right now is close. They're really close. They got some offensive line problems still. The offensive line's still meh, and the receivers are But I do think they're right there in Arizona, and I think Jonathan Gannon and this defense have been playing his ass off, and they're a tough out because they play their butts off. But you're not going to win as long as Mental Midget's your quarterback. So that's all my take on that game was. Just to recap, Carolina, a little bit of panic mode, even though it's 2 games in. Arizona, annoyingly frustrating and irritating because they do have talent. You just don't know. So the second game I wanted to touch on was Broncos Colts. My brother is a big Bronco fan. That was a gut-wrenching loss. They gave that game away. I get it. In Denver, the first 2 weeks, they've been sloppy. I don't love this. Sean Payton kind of did this to me in New Orleans. He had a lot of talented teams, but just couldn't mesh it all together at times. And it's just, I call it was SSF on Sunday. Stupid shit football. Dumb penalties. Just dumb shit. And Bo Nix played really well outside the pick. I think he's really good. I don't know if he's ever going to be elite, but man, he runs that offense like it's just It's horsepower. He's thick and he's cut and he's got the mindset and the mentality. And I give Denver props. Like, listen, I'm a Raider fan till I die. And I hate the Broncos. But I respect Bo Nix. Like, he's a good player. And they're going to keep building this thing around him. He's on his rookie contract, so you got room to grow when it comes to offensive line and get more weaponry. I get all that. And their defense is good, but Sunday, listen, Colts got dudes, and I'll get to them in a second. Colts got offensive players everywhere, okay? They did the right thing. And listen, I love Pat Surtain. He got beat on Sunday. It happens. Champ Bailey's one of the best corners of my life. Near the end, he got burned a lot. It happens. Revis, all these, Woodson got burned. So, corner, it happens. If you're not Deion Sanders, then it doesn't happen to you. But if you're not, then it happens. So I'm not going to jump the gun. But Denver was alarming. Their run defense got gashed. It just reminded me so much of early on McFadden playing Denver. They just ran it down their throat, and just, it was power. It was just guard shifts and motion, bang, 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 and just run it down your throat till you can't stop it no more, and just smush you. And that's what it felt like Sunday when I was watching Jonathan Taylor. He was on my fantasy team, so congrats to me. But I do think the Colts, and listen, with Denver, I'm not going to, they're still going to, I think they're going to be competitive to win that West. I just think with the Raiders right now, listen, we are 1-1, long way to go. Chargers, like them, got to see more. And then Denver, I like, but can it all come together? Because it's got a talented team, no doubt about it. But I got to see it all mesh together. And then I'll flip over to the Colts. So just to recap with Denver, good, but I'm still a little shaky. The Colts, I'm shocked. I mean, if you were to tell me before the year started they'd be 2-0, I wouldn't believe you. I'd be like, maybe 1-1, whatever. But Daniel Jones, and this was his comp, and I said this a couple years ago, maybe last year Chase Mathis put a laughing emoji on it, was that I think he's Alex Smith. He's a poor man's Alex Smith. And he is. Should he have been the number one pick in the draft, Alex Smith? Probably not. Aaron Rodgers should have. But Aaron Rodgers had his own issues. We all know that now. His personality is personality. Is Daniel Jones, should he be in the sixth pick of the draft? Probably not, but he was. And he kind of rotted in New York, and I think the Giants, ever since Tom Coughlin retired and left, it got bad. It got weird. They kept losing and losing and losing. So, I will say, though, I'm happy for Daniel Jones. He got a new start. I never doubted Shane Steichen in terms of offense of football. He makes it easy for you. Kind of like Shanahan, kind of like McVay. Get these guys up to speed, kind of Kevin O'Connell. The Colts got a really good roster. I've been saying this for years. The Colts are right there. They just need a quarterback. They've been kind of treading water since Andrew Luck sequentially retired and his weirdness. And now I feel like they're in the right direction. They have a good GM in Chris Ballard, who I've always liked. Kind of gets a little bit of a pass in the media because they don't make the playoffs often. But I think with his job on the line, he said, okay. He admitted that Anthony Richardson was a bust. I could have told you that from a mile away. But, hey, I'm all for taking swings and swinging for the fences. If you strike out, you strike out. It happens. So, I do think the Colts, to me, are going to be a problem. I mean, they got an offensive line that's really good. Their defense is flying around. They look better than they did under Gus Bradley in that old, archaic cover 3 scheme that, the Raiders are trying to run, but I think it's been outdated for years. And Lou Anarumo was a good defensive coordinator for the Bengals, but they didn't have players anymore because the Bengals are the Bengals. So I will say I was impressed with the Colts. They're going to be a problem. I hope Houston gets their crap together because I still think Houston can win that division. But don't be shocked if the Colts come up and stunt them. And Stone Cold stun them. Stunner! Yeah! America! Woo! Stone Cold Stunner, baby. And, sorry, I was getting a little Stone Cold Steve Austin fever here. But my point is, don't be shocked if they make a run at the playoffs for the first time in a long time. So, I'm reading some news today. Last but not least, Joe Burrow's out for 3 months. Andrew Luck 2.0, man. I'm starting to see it. Now, I think Andrew Luck was a better player, bigger, physical, but you're seeing the hits. You're seeing him take over this franchise. Just can't get out of their own fucking way. I'm seeing the same shit again. And then the Vikings, listen, I'm pulling for JJ. My cousins went to Nazareth. I'm pulling for him. But it's ugly right now. And I just don't know how it gets better, because maybe he can sit for a couple weeks and get him not overwhelmed. But he better come back guns blazing, because this roster is ready right now. I said it last year. Drive that car, drive the Ferrari, don't crash into a tree, because this roster is ready to go. It's ready to go. Receivers, coach, everything else. And this kid has had it made with coaching. He's in the coaching heaven. He's had Jim Harbaugh for 3 years, and he's had Kevin O'Connell, Tall Sean McVay, who took Josh Dobbs. I'll think about this tonight. Literally took him off the practice squad, didn't even have practice with the team, and got him a win in Atlanta 2 years ago. So you got to do something, JJ, but I hope he does well. But it's going to be interesting, because Minnesota can't patient anymore. Not with this. You got to go, because Green Bay's only getting better. Detroit's not going nowhere with their talent. Mike Kesnick knows this. In the way that they are, and the Bears, if they ever get their shit together, they could be good. So Minnesota, you better get your crap together, because Brian Flores, he's going to get head coaching jobs. You best believe it. He will. So that's all I want to touch on here tonight. Wacky Wednesday. Hope you guys are doing well. I got picks tomorrow. I got to give my reaction, guys, on Friday. I got football coming up. Stay tuned. Wacky Wednesday. Adios. Love you guys. Godspeed.